Good day. I'm Candace, and I get asked all the time what the best sleeping position is for your body. So today I'm just going to go over a couple of quick little things when it comes to sleep positions. So I'm just going to move this a little bit there so we can see a little bit better. So the thing is that when we are in a sitting position for a long period of time, and if we're not sitting properly, what happens is we slouch and we feel very comfortable. But the problem is that all of a sudden we take this slumped posture position, and now we want to put it in an extension position. So of course your body is going to hurt when you're sleeping because you haven't prepared your body. And if you have a regular pain throughout your life, it's going to show up. And a lot of times it's going to show up more when you're relaxing. I hear it all the time where people are like, if I'm doing stuff, it doesn't hurt. As soon as I sit down, it hurts. Well, one, now you're focused on it and your body is coming to a rest position. So all the things that you didn't feel when you were moving, it's because one, you weren't concentrating on it. Two, you were at a completely different focus and stress and state of mind where your body was moving, so it was actually lubricating and it was happy. There is going to be things throughout your day that, even when you're moving, it's going to hurt, but those are all warning signs and signals that something else is going on. So remember, it's all about the body you take to the activity, not the activity itself. So if you in your daily life have pain and tension, then when you take that body to a sleeping position, a sitting position, you are still going to have that pain, but it's going to come up differently depending on the depending on what you're doing. So whether you're sitting, what chair you're sitting on, it will show those different compensations of what's going on, as well as when you're laying down, it will show difference. So the thing is that when you come from a seated position and you're going to go to bed, the best thing to do first, turn your toes in, clasp your hands, put them over your head, and stretch up. That way, you're taking your now slouched position, unless you've paid attention and are now sitting in a proper seating position. Then you will look up and just stretch your body. That way, when you go to a seated position, a laying down position, your body is already in getting prepared for this elongated motion. So, a couple exercises that we're going to do when you're sleeping are first, we're going to show you how to, you know, lay down. So, when you're laying on your back, you want to have the pillow under your head, but your shoulders are actually on the bed. So your head position is on it, and it's not too far up, because if you have too many pillows and your head is in this position, then it's going to create some muscle tension in your neck as well as your shoulders, right? So you just want your head to be up enough that it's in a comfortable position, and your chin isn't down too far, or is it up too far? Because as soon as you lay down and your head is up too far, now you're elongating these frontal muscles of your neck, but then you're kind of compressing your spine, your cervical spine, and looking up too much. If you're lay with, looking one direction all the time, then you may feel that one side is a little bit tighter than the other because of that elongation of the muscles. So when you're laying on your back, the best thing to do is have a pillow under your knees where it's just up slightly, which then puts that nice position into your pelvis where you're shifting it and your low back is going down into the bed. Now, pay attention to where your feet are, because you want your feet in that straight up position, not turned out to the side, which the pillow does help it do. Because when you're sleeping, if your legs are out to the side, then so are your hips, so are your knees. When you are rolling onto your side, you want to try to have a pillow between your knees. So then that way, that maintains that hip position. Because without that hip position, what happens is you can see my hips go down. And so sometimes what happens is when my hip goes down here, it pulls at that hip joint, puts extra pressure on the hip that is down. And that's why some people say, oh, I can't lay on that hip, but it's what else is going on in your body, because just because you're feeling it in one spot doesn't mean that that's actually the cause of that pain. It's what is happening, right? Because your body works as a whole, and so just because it's telling you the symptom is here, what else is going on, right? So depending on if you have a scoliosis, you might find that this side positioning will extenuate that. So once again, by putting that pillow between your knees, it brings that hip into a better alignment position. If you have a scoliosis, let's say, then you may want to put a pillow underneath, and then that way that just shifts everything up as well, creating that more of an opening in your back position as well. But overall, if you don't, bringing that knee pillow position there, making sure that your head is on the pillow and your arm is not on it. Because if your shoulder is laying on the pillow, then it compresses and now your head is up. If you have a second pillow, then you may be over leaning one way, creating some neck tension in your neck. So you want to make sure that that pillow is sitting between the groove of your neck and your shoulder. And so therefore your spine is in a complete alignment position. Now, a lot of people will come in and say they have a burning pain sensation in the back of their shoulder blade. And immediately I go to this position. What position are you sleeping in? Because when people are sleeping with their elbow bent and their wrist here, what happens is they're leaning and rolling too much. It's pulling that rhomboid tight, as well as the traps tight, and now they are sleeping, maybe in this position as well. So they're rolling into it, creating a pull within that back muscle, but then they're also compressing and shortening this pectoralis muscle. But then all of a sudden, they are complaining of pain within their going down their hands falling asleep at night. And it's probably due to the compression of that brachial plexus muscle nerves that is going down to supply the hand. So just even if your shoulders are being rolled forward, your muscles are tight, you're going to have that feeling. So what I have discovered is putting my arm up. So I'm shifting my arm. I'm going to show you. Shifting my arm to this position where I'm lengthening out my arm position and then tucking my head in. And I have found that that is the better way for that shoulder blade to not feel that burning sensation of pain. Okay, so then you just want with this other arm, just kind of more in this position rather than this rolled position. Because as soon as we roll it, we're pulling at the back of the muscles as well as compressing the front. So there's a little bit of an overview between your sleeping position. One other thing is if you're laying on your stomach, the more you lay with the higher pillows, the more you may find an arch in your back. So if you're finding that you have sore back muscles when you wake up, see if it's because you're laying on your stomach and your head is coming up and you're putting an extension in your back the whole time, as well as your head position leaning one side or the other. Now, keep in mind, if your body is in a healthy postural position, it doesn't matter what position you sleep at night because it's the body you take to the activity. Therefore, if your body is not in pain throughout the day. It's not going to be in pain at night. So it's not always the pillow, it's not always the bed, it's the body you take to that pillow and that bed. However, keeping in mind those key things is quite important. So, exercises to do while you're in bed that you may not be able to do on the floor, especially if you have had issues, is even pelvic tilt. So, rolling your pelvis into the bed, flattening out your back, and then bringing your body up. Now, you don't want to give it out into great big push because then you're pushing your spine and your rib cage down. But just even to give it a quick little pelvic tilt and up, just enough that your bum is up a couple inches, and that actually will help your rib cage to expand as well. And feel free to open up your arms, putting your palms out. Now, if you find that your legs are coming out too much, just kind of give them a little push together, and you'll feel that in your quadriceps. You'll feel that in your glutes are now firing, and everything is working together, and roll down. So just even to do a pelvic tilt while you're in bed and just stretching everything. And then you can always go into your knee drops, and if you find that you're having low back issues, just even start with your knees a little bit apart and just rotate back and forth, loosening up all those vertebrae, those hip joints, all the way up. And that will help to release and get movement into your spine as you go. Okay. And even while you're in bed, if you need to, you can do these crossover ones, stretching one way and then the other. And even in this crossover position, pull your knee up, stretching that piriformis muscle, and give it a good stretch, and then up, and you can drop it to the other way. So anything that you can do on the floor, you can also do on a bed and just stretch. And even if you can find that you can do these throughout the morning before you get out of bed, bringing one knee up, bringing the other knee up, then you will find that you're starting your day off really good with a really good stretch, and push them together. Okay. And same with bringing your arms up, giving your body a really good stretch before you get up for your day and start your day. So, thanks for watching. I'm Candace Grant, your postural specialist.